He was the kind of man who built glass towers, but forgot what rain felt like. Until one night, he found her, shivering and soaked, sleeping by his building's back door. The city pulsed with cold light that night. It was nearly midnight when Ryan Hale shut his laptop and stared out from his corner office on the 28th floor. The rain came down in sheets, rhythmic, relentless, streaking the glass like it wanted to wash the whole skyline clean. Below, the streets gleamed silver. He rubbed his temples. Another day, another set of perfect numbers. Yet beneath the hum of success, something hollow stirred. As he headed to the elevator, the only sound was the echo of his shoes and the faint hum of the janitor's cart somewhere down the hall. He barely noticed her anymore, quiet, efficient, invisible. Outside, his black car waited at the curb. But then he saw it, a figure curled under the side awning near the loading bay. The rain drenched everything except that tiny patch of shelter. A blanket, thin, gray, trembling, moved slightly. He frowned, stepping closer, water soaking through his shoes. It was her, Lila, the night janitor. Her hair was plastered to her face, her breathing shallow. She wasn't supposed to be here. Lila. His voice was low but sharp with disbelief. She startled awake, eyes wide, fear flashing before shame. Mr. Hale, it's just for tonight, I promise. Something inside him twisted, the kind of feeling money couldn't buy or reason explain. For the first time in a long time, Ryan didn't feel powerful. He felt human. If you were Ryan, finding someone you see every day suffering in silence, what would you do in that moment? Would you step in or walk away? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to know what your heart says. Rain still dripped from the edge of the awning as Ryan crouched beside her, his tailored suit soaking through. Lila tried to sit up, clutching her blanket as though it could hide her shame. You're going to get sick out here, Ryan said quietly. I'm fine, sir, she murmured, eyes downcast. Please, just go home. I'll be gone by morning. Her voice cracked. That single tremor hit him harder than the rain. He hesitated, torn between authority and empathy. You don't have anywhere to stay? It's just temporary, she whispered. I send most of what I earn back home. My brother, he's only 16. The hospital bills, she stopped, biting the inside of her cheek. It's fine. Really. The streetlight flickered, catching the shimmer of tears on her lashes. She turned her face away so he wouldn't see. Ryan felt something inside him shift, an uncomfortable, humbling realization. In all his years of running this company, he'd never once asked what his employees carried home after hours. He had built policies, benefits, wellness initiatives, but never looked. Come inside, he said softly. Just for tonight. There's a lounge upstairs, it's warm dry. She shook her head fiercely. I can't. People will talk. I can't lose this job. He exhaled slowly, the weight of power pressing against conscience. For once, he didn't want to be her boss. He just wanted to help. Then let me at least bring you something hot, he said finally. Please, Lila. Don't say no to that. She hesitated, then nodded once, almost imperceptibly. And that single nod felt like the first crack in both their walls. Sometimes pride keeps us from accepting help, and compassion can feel harder than control. If you were Lila, would you have accepted Ryan's offer, or kept your distance? Share your thoughts in the comments. Whose choice do you understand more? The next morning, the office was quiet except for the faint hum of computers and the rhythmic click of Lila's mop. Her uniform was damp but pressed. Her eyes, however, looked different, cautious, guarded. Ryan hadn't slept much. He dropped off a thermos of soup and a blanket before leaving last night, but the image of her curled under that awning kept replaying in his mind like a silent accusation. He walked into the hallway, pretending it was coincidence. How are you feeling? Better, she said softly, not meeting his gaze. Thank you for the soup. He nodded, unsure what to do with his hands. You shouldn't be out there again. I can help you find somewhere. Please don't. Her voice was small but firm. I don't want anyone's pity, Mr. Hale. The words landed sharp. Pity, that wasn't what this was. At least, he didn't think so. It's not pity, Lila. He stopped, unable to finish. What was it? Guilt? Responsibility? Something deeper he couldn't name? She gave a faint smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I've handled worse, sir. People like me always do." That sentence lingered in the air long after she walked away. He watched her disappear down the corridor, small, fragile, yet carrying a strength he couldn't understand. For the rest of the day, Ryan found himself distracted in meetings, haunted by a question that refused to quiet. When did we all become so good at pretending not to see? Do you think Lila was right to protect her pride, or should she have let Ryan help more? Comment below, what would you have done if you were in her place? It had been 3 days since that rainy night, and though Ryan tried to focus on his work, his thoughts kept drifting back to Lila. She'd been quieter than usual, moving through the office like a shadow. That evening, as everyone left, he noticed her in the break room. She was sitting alone, scrolling through her phone. With trembling fingers. On the cracked screen, he saw a video call, a boy with oxygen tubes and the brightest smile. "Hey Lila. You're on early," the boy said weakly. "I just wanted to see you," she replied softly. "How are you feeling, Mateo?" The name hit Ryan like a soft echo. Her brother. When the call ended, she turned and froze. Ryan stood at the door, eyes gentle. "You don't have to explain," he said. "But if there's something I can do." "I can't take money from you," she interrupted, her voice breaking. "You don't understand. I've worked so hard to stand on my own." He nodded slowly, thinking. Then, quietly, he said, "What if I didn't give you money? What if I gave you time?" She frowned. "Time?" He smiled faintly. "Take a week off. With pay. Go see your brother. I'll cover it. You've earned that much." Lila blinked hard, the tears she'd held back for weeks finally escaping. No one had ever said something like that to her, not as charity, but as recognition. "Why are you doing this?" she whispered. "Because sometimes," Ryan said, "kindness isn't about what people deserve, it's about what they need." For the first time she smiled, genuinely, softly, and it changed something inside him. Have you ever been shown kindness when you least expected it? Share that moment in the comments. You never know who might need to hear it today. Lila didn't come to work the next day. Or the day after. At first, Ryan assumed she was with her brother, just as he'd insisted. But when a week turned into 10 days, and payroll reported she hadn't even collected her paycheck, a quiet panic stirred inside him. He finally called the hospital listed on her employee file, and his heart dropped. Mateo had passed away 3 days ago. He found her at the bus terminal that evening, sitting alone on a bench with a small suitcase at her feet. Her eyes were red, her hands trembling around a folded piece of paper. "Lila," he said softly. She looked up, startled. "How did you?" "I heard about Mateo. I'm so sorry." Her lips quivered, but she didn't speak. "You didn't have to go through this alone," he continued. "Yes, I did." She swallowed hard. "I've always had to." Her words cut deeper than she meant them to. She stood, clutching the suitcase. "I'm leaving, Mr. Hale. I can't stay here. Everything here reminds me of what I lost. And people will talk about you helping me. About me owing you." He reached for her arm, then stopped himself, fingers curling back. "Lila, this isn't about what people say. It's about what you need. Please, don't disappear like this." Her voice trembled. "You were kind to me, Ryan. Too kind. But kindness, it doesn't fix broken hearts." Then she turned and walked away, and for the first time, Ryan felt the kind of loss no contract or fortune could control. Have you ever walked away from someone because you were afraid you didn't deserve their kindness? Share your thoughts. Sometimes the hardest thing is believing you're worth being loved. It had been 3 weeks since Lila left. Ryan had thrown himself back into work, but every meeting, every glowing report felt hollow. Her absence lingered in the office like a missing heartbeat. Then one rainy afternoon, just like that night, he saw her again. Through the glass walls of the lobby, she was standing by the reception desk, a small envelope in hand. Her clothes were simple, her hair pulled back, her eyes still carrying that quiet sadness. He froze, afraid she might vanish if he spoke too soon. "Lila," he said finally, stepping closer. She turned, managing a small smile. "I just came to return the advance you gave me, for that week off. I can't keep it." He shook his head. That wasn't charity. It was the right thing to do. Silence stretched between them, soft and weighted. Outside, the rain fell steady, blurring the world beyond the glass. "How have you been?" he asked gently. "Some days are harder than others," she admitted. "But I found a place to stay. A friend helped me. And I've been thinking about your words." "Which ones?" "That kindness isn't about what people deserve. It's about what they need." Her voice broke. "I didn't know how to accept that before." He stepped closer, his tone softer than she'd ever heard. "You don't have to repay kindness, Lila. You just have to let yourself feel it." For a moment, she met his gaze, and something unspoken passed between them. Gratitude. Understanding. Maybe even love, fragile and pure. He hesitated, then offered a faint smile. "There's an opening on our community outreach board. We're starting a fund for families like yours, for kids like Mateo. I was hoping you'd help me lead it." Tears welled in her eyes. "You'd trust me with that?" "I already do," he said simply. Lila stepped closer, her voice trembling. "You changed my life, Ryan." "No," he whispered. "You changed mine." Outside, the rain began to fade, just a drizzle now, soft and forgiving. And for the first time, both of them smiled, not because everything was perfect, but because they had finally found something real. Have you ever met someone who reminded you what kindness or love really means? Share that story in the comments. You might inspire someone else to believe again.
Thank you for staying with this story to the very end. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you'll not miss out on the next video.